People are actually marching today because that decision was recently overturned. And the reason why that decision was so important, that happened in 1972. And that decision that was made, Roe v. Wade, was the biggest cause of death of any act of children around the world. Any act in history. This act led to the death of more children worldwide as a result of that decision. And that decision, Roe versus Wade, there was Roe versus Wade. Wade was the judge who sat on that case. And who was Jane Roe? Jane Roe was Norma Leah Nelson McCorvey. She was in her 20s. She'd already had 2 children, and she got pregnant with her 3rd child. They decided that they would cause a story. They made up a story back in the 70s, fake news. And they claimed that she was raped by a group of black men. And she got pregnant. That case went to the Supreme Court. She never showed up there to any of those hearings. And the decision was made in favor of allowing women the right to have abortions. That decision achieved a couple of objectives for the people who wanted it that way. And by the way, she was paid lots of money to make appearances, Norma Leah McCorvey, which she admitted on her deathbed when she died in 2017. She received appearance money of $500,000 to basically hold that lie. And the question you got to ask yourself is, who paid her to say those things or to do these things and propagate this false story? Well, even though they won the case, she did not abort her child. She gave birth to a daughter. And interestingly enough, she was not a biracial daughter. And she gave that child up for abortion. And her name was Shelley Thornton. And Shelley Thornton eventually met her mother years later over the phone. And her mother said, "You're lucky that I didn't abort you," which traumatized the Shelley Thornton. And she suffered trauma and psychiatric problems for a very long time during her life. No one wants to be abandoned or given away by their mother. But adoption is available. So anyway, it's a very interesting story. And we know that there were ties to lawyers involved in the case who were also paid. And they had ties to Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter, who were presidents at that time. So it's a big, big case. This case was overturned, and there were moves and talk of overturning this case back in 2016. I'm not sure, when we talk about doing your research, a lot of you guys have done your research, and you realize that this was on the cards for a very long time. Because that case, back in 1972, it was 50 years of propaganda. 50 years of lies. They stuck to this story that she was paid to say actually happened. So this is why it's important. This is why they're out here today. Every child has the right to life. This whole thing, the whole reason we're out here, when we talk about freedom, when we talk about freedom from mandates and the right to choose, the right to decide what we put in our body, that's sort of like the antithesis of what they say. They say that they will have the right to choose, but we don't have the right to choose the vaccine. Hence the irony of the whole situation. But now all children around the world, right, there's going to be millions of lives saved. The eugenics program, and that's another thing that thing tied into, was Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood. They wanted eugenics. They wanted population control through the ability to abort children and to limit certain demographics around the world. That's finished now. So it's a victory for all of us, and a lot of decisions are starting to be made, just like the Roe v. Wade in the Supreme Court, that are coming the freedom fighters' way. So all of us, we should be rejoicing. Everyone around here on the streets, we're fighting for all of them. They don't know it yet, but we know what's coming. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Good on you guys.
Thanks, Don. The Don.